Once the severity of the drought became clear, federal officials looked for options to allow boat access at low water levels, said William Shott, superintendent of the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, where Lake Powell is located. The Park Service discovered an old ramp on Wahweap Bay that will be built out to support houseboats and smaller motorboats. Shott said he hopes the $3 million ramp can be completed by Labor Day weekend. The project is funded by the Park Service and lake concessionaire Aramark. The agency and officials from Page, which relies on lake tourism, plan to open another old asphalt ramp to provide access for smaller boats while the larger one is updated. Tom Materna, who has been visiting Lake Powell for 20 years, launched his family's 65-foot, 20-meter timeshare houseboat hours before the main ramp closed but had to cut their vacation short as water levels dropped in mid-July. They said no more launching out of the Wahweap ramp, so we were glad we made it out, the Los Angeles resident said. Then the next day, I think, or 2 days later, they called us up and told us that all launch and retrieve houseboats had to be off the lake. A white band of newly exposed rock at Lake Powell highlights the difference between the current lake level and the lake's high water mark. Page Mayor Bill Diak said losing boat access to the lake could have devastating financial consequences for the city of 7,500. He said leaders were slow to address dropping water levels and limited boat access, but he's been working with park officials and concessionaires on solutions. We could have been a little bit more proactive on planning, but we're moving in the right direction now, working together, Diak said. He stressed that the impact of climate change needs to be addressed, noting that the West could face far more pressing issues than lake access if the drought continues for another 20 years. One silver lining, Shott said, is the Park Service can build boat ramps that are usable even during record drought years. More than $8 million in other low-water projects are underway. Even if we did have a crystal ball and we saw that these lake levels were going to get this low, we couldn't have prevented it, anyways, Shott said. With that said, we're taking advantage of the low water now. The National Park Service restricted houseboat access to Lake Powell in July. Troy Sherman, co-owner of a business renting environmentally friendly anchors to houseboats, said the marina housing beach bags anchors shut down shortly after his company launched in spring 2020 because of the coronavirus pandemic. It relaunched this year but had to cancel 95% of its bookings in July when ramps closed to houseboats. Until there's really access to a ramp again to put houseboats in, my business is kind of in a holding pattern, Sherman said. But we'll totally persevere, it's what you have to do. Eppolito is a core member for the Associated Press Report for America Statehouse News Initiative. Report for America is a nonprofit national service program that places journalists in local newsrooms to report on undercovered issues.